Hi, and hello. Hi there. My name is Erin, or as my channel says, Pez Girl. Um, and this is a new series I'm starting. Right now it's called the WikiWanderer because I wanted it to be kind of obvious what the series is about. And so I'm going to be just going through random Wikipedia articles. And this started because me and my husband will sometimes be chatting about something and we'll say, oh, well, what's that about? And I'll look it up on Wikipedia and I will summarize it. And sometimes we'll find out something really interesting, like, he plays a video game where there's battleships, war of warships or whatever. And um, they have realistic battleships. And we were looking up this battleship and we kind of went down some rabbit hole of like captured ships. And there was this one that was like a river gunboat. And we were like, what is that about? Like, how'd they get their hands on a riverboat? And when the war started, there were some people who were assisting, I guess, Japan in kind of navigating, patrolling these river waters in China because it was Japanese occupied China. And the war broke out, like Pearl Harbor happened. The captain's having lunch. The communications guy gets like a heads up. We've declared war. And so he runs back to the captain. They run back to the ship. The Japanese have already gotten there and they seize the ship. And so they just at this random gunboat through just a series of coincidences. And if it had been, an hour or so before, they might have gotten away with it if it weren't for those pesky Japanese officials. And that was just so random and interesting and such a niche story. And so I'd like to kind of find those little eggs, and maybe shine some light on some unknown subjects. And maybe we'll find something fun. I did a test run of this and we did um like a painter and an Asian studies professor and a Beyonce song and oh, something else. Oh, the city of San Marino, I think was one. And then it was named after a plantation. The plantation was named after the country. And then there was a guy and his son went on to, I can't remember. There was so much going on. But some of it's mundane and some of that is fun. I was listening to a podcast once and they looked up milk and it said milk is a white liquid food and they didn't like that description. So you never know what kind of nuggets you're going to come across. So we're going to try to spend the next half an hour and see what we find. We're going to go random. So this is our very first random article. Let's get a good one. Well, it's going to be quick. It is a village in southeastern Estonia. They have counties and parishes. That is pretty interesting. I would love to know, like, is there a difference between a state and a county, like, other than the name? Um, I always like parish. In Louisiana, they have parishes, and I think that's really interesting. That's a French thing. Um, let's look up how we pronounce this so that we've learned something. I mean, I want to say this is something that AI overview would be good at, but I like a good old-fashioned video. But I think it's too niche. I think they put this on there because it's just got so many people. Um, okay, it says ra as in raffle, so ra. So as in cats. Okay, so and then va as in the beginning of father. Va. So Rääptsova. I could have figured that out, but you never know with those double A umlaut. Okay, so Rääptsova is, oh, it's right here on the border. Where'd it go? Well, we lost our city when we enlarged it for some reason. But it's right on this peninsula. So I bet that you can really get it easy to go on the lake there. Uh, it would be nice if I could just like use like a common Wikipedia map to like and just to see where they are on the equator, where they are latitude wise, because I bet that beach that lake right there is really nice. I don't even know how to look that up. Lake and country next to Estonia. That's kind of outside, I think, of what we want. Another short one. Is it Tekaz or is it Tekaz? I feel like it would be more Tekaz. They sorry. See, we got a bunch of things. So I'm not sure. Things. I got to get better at being specific. A couple of accents. Hungarian noble family. The text they are. Um, just says where they live. And they had a seat in the village, which I guess is power wise. Uh, which since is a district, it was a village, now it's a district, and their nobility was confirmed by a king. And they have a coat of arms. And one of them is a forestry specialist and a Democrat, a social democrat politician. Let's see what that's all about. Okay, this guy was, so let's see. He would have been, okay, I was sorry. I was trying to see when he was a politician to kind of, but it looks like in the in World War II times. So, what's a silviculturalist? This is part of his forestry, right? So, controlling the growth, composition, structure, as well as forest quality of forest to meet values and needs, specifically timber production. Silva is forest, so forest growing. So you can't. So silvalist is commercial by definition. Just feels like you could be a silvalist for good, but I understand a silvalist for by need. Okay, so silviculturalist. So he makes makes wood. Um, he became a forest inspector in a bunch of different places, and he's written about it and beekeeping. Um, oh, uh, the okay, this Hungarian. Oh, it was a Nazi-backed puppet government of Hungary. So after Hungary was annexed, um, he saved a bunch of Jewish people and POWs. So he was one of the good ones. Mm. After World War II, he became a social democrat and took helped out in the agrarian sector. He was expelled. Oh, he was expelled because the Union, this would have been post World War II, and I guess they fell on the um, communist side of the divide, and so this union was getting pressure from the communists against social democrats. So he was, kind of X'd out. He was arrested and tortured. This guy made forests, and this eh, parallels of today. Tortured by the State Protection Authority. I'm sure they really protected Hungary. Hungary. I don't know how to say it. Um, so then there was a revolution. Let's just peek into that. An attempted revolution. Oh no. 15 days and then the Soviets brought in tanks. Thousands were killed. Man, man. Do you think this is what would happen if we came out to protest against this administration? Do you think that they would shoot people? Because y- not to get political, but I think this administration has demonstrated um, that they are keen to label protesting groups as being violent criminals. And would they shoot civilians? Um, would they bring out tanks if we had an uprising that lasted several days? These have just been protests, and that's why there hasn't been this kind of, like, he seems to want to demonstrate being tough on crime, crushing these social woes and criminal activity being one of those. And so when he sees protests, that's obviously not a clean sidewalk. And that's what he wants. And I wonder, Kent State happened, and I I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to show my politics in this, but I do think that that is a bipartisan question of how much force that this administration is willing to show if these protests do become uprisings, if they do fall into that level, if he's going to say, oh, that's an insurrection also. Um, so how far would that have to go? Nepal, I know I'm off topic and need to get back. Nepal did an amazing job. They they returned stolen goods. They are cleaning up. They took down the government and voted a new person in their own system and did what they could, and um and made sure that tourists were unaffected, that things were done mostly through property damage and, expelling these people with physical pressure, which is what you want. What you want. So interesting things going on in the world, and there was a halted revolution. So when that happened, so they were making a new government, and he was arrested for that, and he died in the town of his birth. So I mean, very interesting story. That was because we looked up, we came across his family, which was a noble family going back to the 1600s. So, um, interesting that he was just like a forestry guy, and they just, is there a picture of this bad boy or just story? Uh, I can't trust any of that. Maybe that. Very interesting for a blue blood. All right. Benjamin Violet. Violet. French. Oh, why do I not know how to pronounce that? No. Um,
Villas.
Shut up. Here's what I'm gonna do. They're like, you spelled villas wrong. No, 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 no. I want the translator. Why is it not giving me? Why is it not giving me the translator? Come on. Stop. I want what I want. So many pop-ups.
Veillas. Veillas.
Veilla.
See how that's done. Poorly. VA.
Veilla.
Villa.
Veilla.
Villa. So Benjamin Villa. Oh God, that's so much better than all that. Sorry. We'll just leave the translator out as a tool, I think, from now on. Um, Google obviously is good. The episode that I practiced with Beyonce was obviously denied because it had, you know, a few seconds of a song. So we have to be really careful about what we do add. So it's a learning process. It's a learning process. Benjamin Viegas, he is a um rally driver. Um is he the driver? Like when you have a co-driver, isn't one of them's the navigator? Oh, so that's the navigator. Okay, so co-driver is the navigator. Okay, cool, cool, cool. So, if you don't know, rally driving is really interesting. It's kind of insane. So, it's more like a European thing, and they are in kind of um sports cars that are more made, I think, for it's a little more off-road, it's a little more a lot more turn-based. So basically you're going through this crazy track route, but you don't know the way. I mean, you might have done it before, but these turns are really sharp. So you have a navigator, and he's telling you how to drive based on what's coming up. Like you need to slow down now, you need to cut to the right. And it's usually through like forests and stuff. Let me see what the definition is. This is what I mean. It's in a forest. Um, So they're like just little sports cars, but they're the ones that are made more for like, you know, getting, it's kind of the thing James Bond would have, because James Bond needs a car that not just doesn't just drive, that gets around. And that's what these guys are about. It's the they're the kind of cars that are like little, like a Honda, but with a spoiler on it, and you can see these little devils. Um, so yeah, they just go through these tracks that are just out in nature, and they're very windy. So, yeah, they're very cross country. So he is a French co-driver. So he's the navigator that tells you what to do. So I guess his driver is this fellow, Pierre Louis Loubet. His comes with a pronunciation. It's not nice. And he is a rally driver. He won just a few years ago, and he's the son of a rally champion, woot woot, who was born on spooky Halloween. I love a Halloween birthday. Started driving when he was 7 in his blood. This guy is a muggle. Um, I guess that's a team, private team in FIA World Rally Championships. Um, he's my age, and he started in 97, so that's pretty early. He was a teenager. Um, and before he graduated, what would be high school for, us. So before he's 21, he's in the World Rally. Um, he was the co-driver of another French fella. Um, didn't note him being better than this driver up here. Sorry, you can't see where I'm pointing. Or Pierre Loubet. Um, in 2022, he started with Sebastian over here. Um, he's won a lot of championships. Um, after I guess his co-driver retired, so he got an in. The 2022 Monte Carlo rally, they got second place. And they got a puncture. What is that? What is that all about?
Penultimate.
Penultimate. Okay. Okay, second to last. Okay, second to last. That's second to last is a better thing. So they got a puncture and had to go through like two more parts. Um, so that's our guy. Um, Benjamin Vies. My brain broke for a second. Benjamin Vies, French rally navigator, um, who's who's navigated with some really impressive drivers. So, if you didn't know what rallying is, now you do, and you know a little bit more about it. This is a club basquet, so a basketball team. It's a Spanish. Okay, so it's more a club basquet. I don't know. I didn't do it any different. They're also known as BC Martorell Solvent. Okay. I like Club Basquet Martorell. Um, oh, for sponsorship reasons. So it's a Spanish basketball team in Catalonia. I don't know a lot about Catalonia. It's like Spanish but not Spanish. Yeah, it's like a place in Spain that's like actually and Spain's like okay, so I'm down for it. Um this is their NBA basketball championship. Oh, it's like their March Madness, I guess. Um Okay, they kept on trying and somehow failing to make a team in the city after several attempts to create a team. So 1975, I guess that was a pretty good time for basketball. So I guess it just had to catch on. Several failures in promotion playoffs. The league was admitted thanks to an expansion of Group C. Wow, I guess I have to admit to you guys, I don't know a lot about Catalonia based basketball. I'm not well versed, so I don't have a lot of information like I did with rallying. I understood that. Um, uh, I guess I get it. So Group C, they would have like divisions, and they expanded a division, and so they came into the EBA. So they're March Madness, but then the ACB again changed their name for sponsorship reasons. I really don't understand what's going on, but that is another division. Um, so I guess that maybe they had two different names for the two different for the sponsorship reason for whatever. Um, Promoted to, uh, I guess, like the Final Four or something. The third division. So I guess they got out of Group C, maybe. Anyway, uh, so they seem to be doing okay. Well, they came in first, 14th, first, 16th, then first. So they have their ups and downs. They have a blue outfit, and that's about it for Club Basket. Um, the They tried to make a team. They had problems getting in, I guess, because of there was like no place for them in the in the in the like lineup. So they got in, and then they got in another one, and then they did well in one, and that's how that went. So we're gonna do one last one, maybe. Maybe this is short. We might be able to get one more in. This is a Japanese actor, Kenji Sakaguchi. Now, there should be a picture of this gentleman. He's still alive. Oh, he's pretty handsome. Let's get our array. Oh, look at that. That's what he was doing in 2000 when that other guy was starting to do well in his rallying career. I like that picture. Kind of laid back. Yeah. Okay. He's a Japanese actor. He's been in 30 films. He's the son of a professional wrestler, and his brother is currently a professional wrestler. I think we're gonna look at that and then call it a day. We're gonna look at uh his Westgate was that one with the earring. That was the first thing he was in. Um, it says he's been in 30 films, but can only show us two. I've never seen that. But he's been in a couple television shows. The 3 seasons, 4 seasons, a lead role. So even though they're not showing us a lot, he, seems to be uh getting the roles, getting out there, being recognizable. He was taking an indefinite hiatus. What's wrong with me? Due to idiopathic osteocrosis of the femoral head. Wow, I don't know what the femoral head is. Osteo is bone. Idiopathic is they don't know. Um, Recently in 2023, he went back and was in a drama for the first time in 9 years. So that is great. He won an award or very early in his career. So we're gonna find out. what these both mean. How interesting what the femoral head is. Then we're gonna look at his dad and brother, and then we're gonna call it a day. Okay, agreed. The femoral head. Oh, I thought I was like, I don't know what the femoral part of the head would be, and then I thought it was weird. It was called head. Oh, it's just stupid. Okay, yeah, the ball of your ball and socket on your hip. So he felt like he couldn't walk properly. So I'd love to know what that is. So osteoporosis is a vascular necrosis where bone tissue dies due to a loss of blood supply. Um, wow, you can get that from alcohol abuse? That's interesting. Oh, here we go. Idiopathic. So that's just a recognized thing. Like you can just get it randomly, which is interesting because we're gonna look at his brother and dad, who are both professional wrestlers, and we'll see if they have any health conditions because his is out of the blue. Okay, we'll start with the father. Okay, he is um Seiji Sakaguchi. He was born in February 42. Um, a Jukoda, I'm guessing, like a mangaka is somebody who writes manga, so I'm sure a judoka is somebody who performs judo, but judoka is such a fun word. Judoka. I'm writing that down because I it's fun to say judoka. Um, uh, I'm guessing Dan is like getting your black belt, like a belt. Okay, seventh Dan refers to a very high level rank, seventh degree black belt. Okay, so it's the bands on your. So Dan is the rank in martial arts. I'm just wondering if it's karate or taekwondo or judo, or it's just like they all kind of agree that a Dan is like a pip. Okay, interesting. And red and white belt in judo. Just we know that he's got a high black belt rating, but in judo, it's the same thing. It's a seventh degree black belt, but in judo. Let's leave these up so we know where we've been. We know where we're going. He was in several federations, alliances, um, and his one son is a an actor, and the other one is also a wrestler, also a fighter. Um, I guess New Japan is okay. You can just call it New Japan. So he works like behind the scenes. I don't know what advisor would mean, but not a commentator, I guess. 83. His ring names: Big Saka, Giant Saka, Great Saka, Great Sakaguchi, Mighty Saka, and then just his name. That's not as fun. Um, one of his trainers is named Carl. Oh, wow, he's Belgian. It's, he's known in the ring as just like another word that doesn't mean anything, at least to me. Um, Look, if he's an amateur wrestler and a professional wrestler, then he's, I don't, do you qualify those both? That's funny. One of the most influential wrestlers of his period. So him being trained by Carl Goetsch is like no joke. That's really interesting. Um oh, he's 6'5". No wonder he's Big Saka. Oh my goodness. Pretty fit sounding. Um let's we should be able to get a picture of him. Oh, he's got action figures. I didn't see that in the Wikipedia. Look at that. Look at that big old hunk of beef. Look at that. Whoa. Look at those red shorts. Oh, I know that's perspective, but he looks like a giant next to that guy. Look here, this little figure. It kind of looks like him, actually. Oh my God, I didn't know people actually. Oh, it is Bundy. Oh, that's interesting. Wow. I hope he won that. I'd hate for him to come over here and go down to a big old sack. Um, uh, well, we know that he's, you know, did well. He's coming up and, I mean, we know he's training and getting all his, belts. Uh, Coach was accused by another guy's teammates of having Sakaguchi throw the match against what is the I don't know what the more rested means. Oh, okay. So this is one of the problems with me reading um uh Wikipedia is that I have to kind of read things and then understand them and then be able to like summarize them back. And that just creates dead air. So bear with me if you can. Um he was gonna throw the match because this guy was in better condition to beat the next guy. And so this guy's teammates were like, "Oh, we think that um he threw the match so this guy could beat their guy." Um let's see if that amounted to anything. Um when he debuted, when he came out, when he retired. He appeared in the American film Forced Vengeance. He had a minor role, but he was in a climactic scene and fought Chuck Norris. That's fun. And then here's all the stuff he's done. Somehow um that picture of that figure didn't come up. Um Hong Kong refuses to let mobsters take over. Yeah, doesn't really. Made back its money, so I guess he can go ahead and keep making his movies. So we're gonna go to his son, and that's gonna be the last thing. Let's see. It doesn't even mention the accusation. So, let me see if I can just. Let me look that up and see if that means anything. Well, it tells me what that says, and that's just saying what it said. Oh, the coach. They're just gonna say the same thing. But the guy still lost. The Japanese team hoped to beat him with somebody else the next day. Before the match, the guy quit. And then they paraded the coach around on their shoulders. So, so the guy they thought he threw the match to lost the match they said he was going to win. And then the guy just quit. So that's crazy. So Yukio is a great name, is it not? Love the name Yukio. Yukio Sakaguchi. Uh, of course, he is all the things: actor, martial artist, judoka, professional wrestler, and kind of a little hottie. Let's. Oh, look at that. Um, yeah, that he's giving real like retired guy vibes. I don't know why this is a PNG. Oh wow. He's actually showing a little too much. But yeah, totally giving off like I could still fuck you up vibes. Oh, he's got like the whole arm tattoos, so he's tough but still culturally respectful. Um yeah, he's a baddie. I like him. He used to be pretty skinny. He's real beefy. I could look at him all day. Okay, Yukio, what's your story? Let's see. Um, I guess he doesn't really have a name. Like his dad, Big Saka. He's known for being in one team, but he's fought in a bunch of other teams. He had a fight with a Nigerian kickboxer. I just shouldn't have done this. Okay. Okay, that was one of the stills that we got. That's not the right. Oh my. Um, he's won more matches than he's lost. He's like a model. That's a really sweet gig when you can get in that place like where, our bro Yukio is like an actor and he can kind of do all these different things in that. And then he's like again, he's like, well, I'm like a good-looking guy. I've got a good physique. I can be a model. Geez, Dior, Chanjan, or and Chanjan's not really, but Michael Kors and Dior, Puma. Oh, he's been on Ninja Warrior and in some movies. Where are these movies made? Because you gotta remember, if he's being in Japanese stuff, then uh, these movies. I don't know where that movie's. Is it made in South Africa? It's about South Africa. And then this is a Christopher Nolan, so that's American. Oh, Babel. I know what that is. That's why they don't say where it is, because they're like, of course it's American. Okay.
Andy Ologu.
Logan. That didn't sound like professional. It sounded like when they hire people to like go through, and people will have to say whether like the computer translated a voice to text properly, or what you would say that says, or it must be one of those things. It didn't feel like it was recorded. It felt like me recording. It feels like that's maybe somebody who gets paid cents for going through and pronouncing stuff. Uh, anyway, he was in a Buju Banton music video, which is a Jamaican musician. That's pretty cool. He's kind of got a worldwide presence, and that's really cool for him. Um, where was he born? He was born in Nigeria, but he lives in Japan. So I guess he went there to be the belle of the ball. What was his he has a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I thought I saw something about having a black belt. It just must have been the blue belt. Uh, so that must be his claim to fame. Okay, so where were we? He was best known for that fight with him. How did that fight go? Did I exit out of that? Damn. Where's my history? I should have my history of like what I've done. It's too incognito. Well, if he's best known for it, how come I can't find out how it went? This is taking too long. Um, hmm. So he had this great fight with this fighter that's gonna bother me for the rest of the episode. He's the younger brother. I guess that movie was really important because they're mentioning it on his brother's thing, the movie that he had with the chain on his face. Um, Stop talking about his brother. Jeez. Now here's something that Yukio was in. It was a a Japanese film that did really well in the Netherlands. That's interesting. It was based on a manga. So he's in some other stuff like that. his wrestling career, of course, it's going to be like he was in a 5-team, he was a 6-man tag team. And there's just going to have a lot of like claiming that he did not belong in the same ring with the 5 of them and he was the only son of Sakaguchi. What does that mean? I don't know what calling him the only son means. Maybe that means something in Japanese to mean like fuck your actor brother. Like I don't know why. And I don't know if he was saying that those other men were better or I guess they were saying he's so good that fuck his brother and fuck the team? Question mark? I wouldn't know. Liger sounds like an asshole. Um he started feuding. This is like too much going on. He had a lot of fights and he did well in some of them. I'm gonna focus on that fight with what's his face. Um and he's had some losses. He's a hit or miss guy. I don't see Andy on here. So that's the last thing we're gonna find out how he did. Versus Andy. Oh, come on. You don't know his name? Oligan? Tell me how it went. There's lots of pictures. Okay. 330110. He fell. Fighting out of Japan. 35 versus 25. Oh no. And his record after the fight. Oh, so he had a loss, I guess, is it like, and he had a win. Well, I thought, especially when I saw his age, and especially when I thought that's what he's known for. But we're gonna leave on that note. So we learned about Japanese wrestling and a Japanese actor. We learned um that Catalonia can get their shit together when it comes to basketball. We found out about a car rally um racing. We found out that noble families uh can be for street people that fight for good. And that there's little towns in Estonia. I thought there was one more. So I kind of went up like there was something else to go. So that was our first episode. It was a little longer than I meant for it to be. And I'm going to try to wrap these in like 25-30 minutes. But it's impossible to do because I look at all the information and it feels like I have to say it all. So hopefully I'll get better at it and hopefully you'll stick with me and wander around Wikipedia with me. I'm going to try to stack some episodes so that um maybe you can see me get better. So that's going to be the end of the episode today. So thank you for listening and